Moonwalker music.
Keep It a Buck podcast. We back.
Let's get a hand clap, everybody, please. Hand clap. Yes. Special guest today. Special guest today. Man, let's see if let me look at my stratosphere again. You know how I do.
One more time.
Right. You know, I usually do like this too. Philanthropist, educator, actor. Excuse me, I say actor. No, author. But we're gonna reclaim that. We're gonna proclaim that.
Yes.
Have you acted before? Have you acted before?
No, but I will.
We're gonna proclaim that. That was a proclamation. Like,
Okay.
you saw it here first. We kept it too much about this then. We done in the future.
On the way.
No, philanthropist, educator, author. She is currently the vice president and CFO of a nonprofit, the LaMarco Men of
Balance.
LaMarco Wilcox Men of Balance.
I was.
Was no longer.
Correct.
You still active with them? You still involved in a way? No, we'll get to that later. Okay, here we go. No, but big time though. She is the owner and founder of her own consulting firm, Kinsey Enterprise Group, and she is not only the earner of a bachelor's of business administration, not only an earner of a master's of business administration, but currently looking to earn her doctorate of business administration from the Liberty University. And she has a publication coming out here soon.
Yep.
All right. And at the top of the year, we'll get into that here a little bit later, but ladies and gentlemen, Lakeisha Kinsey-Watson. Clap it up, clap it up, clap it up. How are you?
I am fantastic. You're right.
We're good. Welcome to the gym. Welcome.
I'm very familiar with this gym. I got the best revenge body of all time in this
In the
gym.
gym. Yeah.
In this gym. Yes.
How long did you work out here?
I was here for about a year and a half, maybe. I traveled a lot at the time.
Okay.
So it was hard for me to stay committed. But when I got back into working out, because I didn't realize how long I hadn't worked out and how much out of shape I was, I came back to this gym.
Gotcha. Cool.
So that speaks volume.
It does. It does.
This guy here, he's a good.
We've had our ups and downs in the gym now. It was some days where, it was a little funky. She was kind of, Josh, I don't know if I can do this, do that, but I had to get on it. We got through it. We got that body snatch, though.
Yes, honey.
We got them hip snaps.
Right on.
We got them snatched. We got them.
Okay.
Right on.
But Keish, man, welcome again to the Keep It a Buck pod. So glad to have you here today. Fill us in. It's been a few months. I haven't really heard from you, talk to you. What's going on with my dog?
Life has been lifing, to say the least. I don't know what the hell I was thinking to be headed towards 40 and having a newborn baby.
We got to talk
But
about
I would
that.
tell you, it kicked my butt, okay? And my son is a Sagittarius. Yeah, pray for me. Because that in itself is a task,
Yeah.
okay? But I look at my baby and I'll be like, Lord, what was I thinking? And then I'd be like, but I love him so much.
How old is it?
Good. He will be 2 December the 1st. So he has a birthday coming up. And he has already hit terrible twos. So the other day he's like, Keisha, sit down. I said, who is Keisha? He says, you, mommy, you. Like, how does he even know my name?
Yeah, they're
Like,
different.
no one calls me Keisha here. And then I thought he was with his godmother.
Okay.
And we were on the phone. And he heard her calling me Keisha, Keish. And now he just feels like he's okay. He's big enough to call me Keish.
There it is.
So yeah, parenting is great.
So I got to ask, what is it being a mom pretty much all over again?
Oh my God.
That got to be challenging, right?
First of all, let's be clear. My oldest son is 25 years old. I had him when I was in high school. Okay, so that experience for me is like a blur. I was in school, he was going to daycare, I graduated, so I don't remember a lot. I do remember I gave him the topical Benadryl orally one time, and he slept. And I didn't realize it was an oral medication until like the next day when I read the bottle, and I was like, oh my God, arrest me. I gave the kid a topical as an oral medication. That was like trial and error. Poor baby. It was a lot. We were growing up together. So, Deshaun, which I had years later, he passed. So I hadn't gotten to experience motherhood again. And then we had Donnell. And then Donnell has special needs. He has nonverbal autism. So that was a different experience in itself. And one of the reasons I wasn't able to identify so early something was off was because I had a 14-year-old and a 1-year-old. And so there was a tremendous gap. Now with Amir, listen, it'd be like, oh my God, like he's supposed to be doing this already at this age? So I was able to see, it was very bittersweet because I celebrated those milestones, but I was also sad because as a mother, some of those things I didn't catch with my kid who has special needs because I was so out of date with parenting. I just didn't know, so it's been a journey. I love my son. Boys are pleasantly hard-headed. You have to tell them the same thing 20 times.
A little bit.
And maybe the 21st time, they may do it and they may not. So I'm a boy mom. I have all boys, all sons. Sure. So it's good with Amir because he keeps me energetic. I'm constantly having to chase him down, run behind him and grab him. But his voice and when he calls my name, it just really does something to my spirit because I just have this fear with my son now. My middle son now just turned 11 October the 23rd. Am I ever going to hear him speak? Am I ever going to get to experience that togetherness with my son? And so for my little baby to bring that joy and that happiness, it's very bittersweet because I want it from Donnell, but I'm getting it from Amir, so it's still being fulfilled to some degree. So I love being his mother. I love dressing him. He's always the flyest kid every day, hands down.
Right.
No question asked, don't play with my kid. Don't play with my kid. But the girls, already, the girls, the girls.
Does he notice?
Does he know?
Do you notice or does he notice as well?
My son know he fly. My son,
Come on.
Listen, when we leave somewhere, my son say, hold on, mommy. And he walks to my door, opens the door. He says, sit down, mommy, and closes the door. What? He ain't even 2 yet. About to be 2.
And he giving order already.
My baby don't play. Baby, them little girls, it's going to be a problem, okay?
For him or for you?
It's going to be a problem for them. Because I'm going to be with my son. Listen, I'm one of those moms. I don't care my son, okay? So if it's 10 lined up, I'm saying, hey, it's all 10 like it's only one.
Oh.
So I'm just saying, though, I'm just keeping it real. I'm one of those moms. I'm sorry.
You're an anomaly for sure, right? In regards to motherhood, your motherhood is clearly probably a one-on-one story that you know.
Yeah.
As far as your friends and your network. I have a 14-year-old and I have a 4-year-old, and I'm sitting here at 36 like, what was I doing? With that 10-year gap. You have parent different. You have to say word. I can't tell them both no the same way. I have to tell one, hell no. And I got to tell one, no, not right now. I got to do this every single day. My question is, 25, 11 with special needs, and then almost 2.
Right.
Every day has to be a battle within itself in regards to keeping in touch with your son that's out of the house.
No.
Oh, he's still in there.
I couldn't wish him away if I wanted to. Listen, he right there. He thinks that the little baby is his baby.
He ain't leaving.
Right on.
Right there.
Okay. So even more so, you're talking to 3 almost different generations.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. How is that? And we speak transition on here. The transition, not from a level or not from years, not from months. We're talking about minutes.
Right.
Your transition from minutes is different. How is that for you?
So my middle son stays with my ex-husband.
Okay.
So he's not in the house with us because kids with autism, they really gravitate to one parent over the other parent.
Right.
And his father and him are like this. And regardless of what we were going through in the separation, I never wanted to interfere with that bond.
Right.
So I allowed his father was just like, listen, if you're leaving, that's fine, but please don't take my son. And I felt that. I wish that my father had fought for me in that capacity. So I had to oblige him. I had to. So we're all really close, but I just want to be clear that he's not in the house with us. So my oldest son is like, Mom, I got this girl that I like and she got 2 kids. Should I talk to her? And I'm like, hell no. Because are you ready for that? Because you got to be willing to deal with her and her kids. It's a package deal. You have to accept both of those things. Meanwhile, I got the 2-year-old over here talking about Coco Melon, twinkle, twinkle, mommy. Okay, baby, hold on one second. But like I was saying to you, hell no.
Right.
So it's because me and my oldest son, we can listen to music and he know it and I know it. So we have that special connection, you know, we have that bond, the bond of a mother and her firstborn son. It's an unexplainable bond.
Right.
He was there for the good, the bad, and the ugly. He saw the transition. He was there in the struggle. The little kid, he'd never been there during the struggle. He thinks everything is peaches and cream. He thinks he's king talking. He ain't even 2 years old yet because of the lifestyle that he lives. So it's different. But like I said, my oldest son, I appreciate him so much because he'll come and grab my baby. Why you giving mom a hard time? Come with me. So it's my household. It's never a dull moment in my household. It's
Right.
always very interesting. It's always a lot of commotion going on. But at the end of the day, we love each other and we're going to make it work and we're going to all support each other. I never wanted to when I was young, I was forced to watch my niece. My mom would literally drive past my sister and come and get me to watch my niece.
Oh, wow.
So I never and I love my niece to pieces. But as a child, that was very traumatizing for me.
Yeah.
So I never wanted to push that on my son. So I never asked my son one time to babysit my middle son, and I've never asked him to babysit the baby. But he'll come and get him.
Nice.
And he'll say he's
On his
sleeping with
own.
me on his own.
On his own.
He'll say he's sleeping with me tonight.
Right.
So parenting has definitely had its ups and its downs because the thing about parenting is your kid can never do anything to make you hate them. They can piss you off.
Right.
They can make you
right.
extremely mad like nobody else can.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I love you, son.
Right.
I love you.
You know, in terms of life transitions, talking about your kids, you know, I have a 4-year-old daughter, which you know about, which I love with all my life, right? But you mentioned something that stood out to me, that you lost a kid as well. What was that reality like to lose a kid and the hardships that come with that? Did you get therapy? What was the healing process?
So I want to be clear. I am a therapy advocate. I know in our community it's very cliche, but for me, anytime that I experience anything traumatizing in my life, I'm going to therapy. If I have a breakup, I'm going to therapy. So you know, most certainly I went to therapy after the loss of my son. So I hadn't thought about having a son. I thought that my first son was it. I was one and I was done. And so to get to a place in life where I was happy, I was in love, and this man that I was in love with asked me to have his baby. And I was like, of course. Yeah, hell yeah. Of course, because I was young in the first pregnancy. I didn't get to experience all the things that I knew I would experience in my adulthood. So I was excited. I was ready. And I remember we had gone to the doctor, and I remember the doctor saying something that alarmed me, but I didn't think anything of it because he didn't take any steps. So we just left the appointment. So I'm like, okay, everything is good. And then one day I was driving across the bridge and my water broke. And I was 16 weeks pregnant. Now, I want to be clear that in the first pregnancy, my water never broke. So I didn't really know what it felt like for a water to break.
Correct.
I thought I peed on myself. So I called my sister and I'm like, I didn't want to alarm her. I'm like, hey, how I feel when your water break? And she's like, kind of like you peed on yourself. But in that moment, I was trying to convince myself, I know damn well my water ain't break. I'm only 16 weeks pregnant. There is no way in hell my water broke. And as soon as I got at the bottom of the bridge, I was going over the Buckman Bridge, and y'all know where that Super Target is. I had just accepted a new job because I had said I was going to be a stay-at-home mom. I always try to psych myself out. Like, I'm going to be a stay-at-home mom. I'm too much of a busybody to do that. So eventually I accepted a position, and this was my second day on the job, and I got to the bottom of the bridge, and it said, and I had fluid up to my knees. And I knew something was wrong. And immediately I went into panic mode. And I called my boyfriend at the time. I called his mom, who I was pregnant from. I called his mom. And I said, I think my water broke. And I called her because I was close to her house. And she says, call 911. So I call 911, and I'm panicking, and I'm hyperventilating, and I'm crying, and I'm shaking, and I'm nervous because I don't know what the hell just happened. Mm-hmm. And I get rushed to Orange Park Medical Center. And the first thing the doctor says when he walks in the room with a straight face, your baby's gonna die.
Whoa.
And I never remember I felt like the rug had been snatched from underneath me. The pain and the agony that I felt in that moment, the uncertainty, what's happening with my body. So after he tells me my baby's gonna die, he proceeds to tell me why this happened. And it was called PROM, premature rupture of membranes. And I had made a decision years prior to that, and a lot of this is in the books, I don't want to give too much away, but I had made a decision prior to that to have a late-term abortion. And I remember at the time, the doctor says, you're going to have problems with conceiving in the future. But I was so caught on going through what it was that I wanted to do, it went in one ear and out of the other. And now here I am years later. I think I'm in love, right? Because love means something different to everyone. And you may think you're in love at one point in your life and then realize down the line that I wasn't really love. That was lust or infatuation, right? Yeah. And so I think I'm in love. I want to give this man a kid, and this is what's happening. And so I ended up calling my regular OBGYN, and he says to me, we can come up with a plan. And when he said that, that meant hope for me. So I was hopeful. And long story short, the abridged version of it was we could wait until I got 24 weeks. A baby is not viable until 24 weeks. You can wait to that point, and then we'll put you in the hospital and we'll administer steroids for the baby's lungs to develop, right? And then you'll have the baby. The downside is the baby may have abnormalities with their limbs because you're having a dry pregnancy, but the baby's still alive. He's still breathing. His heart is still beating. He's still moving, right? I was optimistic. I had hope again. And then right before they admitted me to the hospital, after I got 24 weeks, we were at the doctor's office, the ROC, Regional Obstetrics Consultants. They have phenomenal staff, phenomenal team there. They are the absolute best. Dr. Castillo, I will never forget this doctor. He gave me so much hope. We said, can we look at the baby's lungs? And I got the most heartbreaking news ever. At the time that my water broke is the time when the baby would have been breathing the fluids in and out for the bronchio to branch into their lungs, for their lungs to develop. But because my water was not there when he tried to do that, the development process never began. So even if I gave birth to him today or tomorrow, today or 10 weeks from now, he would never be able to live. He did not have the bronchio. Without a bronchio, you can't go on a ventilator. Wow. So we went ahead and decided to deliver the baby, knowing that when he tried to take his first breath, he would die. And I had never felt so much pain as a woman. I felt less than. I felt incapable of bearing children. I felt so broken about this, right? A decision I made young and immature and years ago is now haunting me. And I'll never forget leaving the labor and delivery floor without a baby. And being in that room and hearing the baby's cry, and it's echoing from the walls and it's bouncing off of the walls. And I know when I leave here, my baby is going to the morgue. So it took me a very long time to process that. And I had given up. I honestly I was in my early 20s and I had given up. And I remember laying on the floor in the bathroom and saying, I just don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to live. And I remember being in this phase of halfway awake, halfway sleep. And I was being drugged. And I'm like, who in the hell is dragging me? And I was in this field, and there was these long leaves and this tree, long grass. And I looked back, and it was the baby. And he said, Mommy, you cannot give up. And from that moment, I jumped up and I was like, you know what? I have so much to live for. I got to do this. I have to push myself to continue. Even though I feel like giving up, I have people that depend on me and that are counting on me. And that was my strength. Now, what I do every year in his honor, on his birthday, I do go to his grave. I leave flowers there, and I sit with him for a while and I talk to him.
When's his birthday?
December 15th. He was going to be a Sagittarius.
So what you was Sagittarius?
He's going to be a Sagittarius. So I wonder a lot how he would have been, you know, what would be happening right now if he were here. Like, I wonder those things, but God is so sufficient to where he has helped me to grow and get to a phase of being able to cope where I don't feel that void every single day, because for a long time I did. Could you imagine?
I was gonna ask, and we've asked this on the show before, and I do this quite often because, you know, as Josh alluded to in some footage that we have, we take mental health like seriously.
Absolutely.
Right. And so if I see somebody now for the last, I'd say, since my divorce, that was 4 years ago, since then, if somebody's like out of it, or if they even in it and they're good, you know, usually the stronger people are going through something, right? They're going through something, and that motivation is making them like a beast at what they do.
Absolutely.
And so they're thriving, and you're thinking, oh, they're strong, they're fine. But now I've seen where it's, okay, they're beasting because that's all they have to lean on right now. So I was going to ask, and I'm sure you can still, you know, answer, like, are you okay?
Absolutely. So I want to be clear. I'm okay most days. Right. But I'm not okay all days. And I have grown to such a place in my life to where I'm okay saying, hey, I'm not okay right now.
Right.
In my world, so much is happening, and it's happening so fast. My brain rarely gets a vacation, right? And so in those moments where I'm overloaded and I feel overwhelmed, I will let the people around me know. Even if I don't let them know, my attitude lets them know. Okay, when I went to the chiropractor, because I started having some pain in my foot, went to the chiropractor maybe 3-4 months ago, and he did a scan of my body. He says, what the hell do you do for a living? What's going on? He said, your body is in survival mode. He said, how many hours of sleep do you get? I said, sometimes 2, sometimes 4.
Oh, he was knocking your body. Like, he was like, oh, he ain't good.
Right. If your body, so stress, if you understand, stress was designed to protect us. Right? Stress is now killing us.
Wow.
Because we have things that we're dealing with that we don't know how to process, and we allow these things to stress us out.
Right.
So when he told me that, I immediately went into mode of calling people. Hey, look, this is what I need from you. I need you to not be a burden on me. I need you to not stress me out. I had to start cutting things out of my life to get here.
Girl, I ain't kidding that. Why you calling me? What you talking about?
Every time someone calls, because me, I have this hero complex, right? And I have a little bit of survival's remorse. So because I never want to leave someone abandoned, I'm feeling like they don't have anyone, I try to be there for everyone. So I'll take my cup, I'll take my full cup, and I'll pour, and I'll pour, and I'll pour, and I'll pour, and then I'm empty.
Yeah.
And I come back to those same people. I'm empty.
Even a little bit like.
Give me some. They're like, no.
Parts.
My daughter, my kids, my job, my husband. Okay, well, can you give me some? No. So I had to get to a point to where I realized that it is a selfless act to put me and my needs first.
Boy, here's what I want to know. As a mom, a sister, a leader, entrepreneur, businesswoman, running a 7-figure company that you have, when do you make time for yourself?
I take vacations. Listen, I be gone. There's some times when I'm able to work and a client may call me and I might say, I ain't in the office. Listen, you have got to take that time for yourself because when we work ourselves to death, we will be replaced. And the life that we had will continue without us.
Right.
And you have to get to a point to where you can acknowledge that. And you have to realize in order for me to be good for everybody around me, I got to be good first. I got to take care of me. So I travel a lot. And I had one client call me, I said, well, I'm traveling tomorrow. And he says, well, my needs and what I need is the priority. And I don't know. No, baby, it's actually not. My mental health is the priority.
Hello.
And if you don't get off of my phone, you're going to understand why mental health is so important.
I was saying, I kind of want to role play a little bit. Like, what if he kept going? Like, what you?
Listen, I tell my clients all the time, baby, this is not Burger King. You do not get it your way here. You come to me for a reason. And I go above and beyond for my clients, but I still come first.
How long it took you to get to that point? Because I'm sure
A long time.
when you first started,
Listen,
everybody came before you.
I was chasing the money, okay? I had walked away. So in the corporate America world, I was a big deal. I was like the #1 marketing consultant for one of the largest marketing companies.
I'm old.
Okay? Here I was, this little black girl in an all-white men's boy club. I opened the knock at the door, and I wasn't even qualified for the position. Let me tell you how God worked. He gonna open them doors for you that were not supposed to be. I wasn't qualified. I didn't have my degree. The first qualification was your bachelor's degree. I did not have it. I did not have it, but I got this talk game though. And I'm gonna put this talk game
Mouthpiece.
Right on.
and I'm finna tell you why you need to give me this job in lieu of me not being qualified. Because really, mentally wise, I'm overqualified for this.
So
Listen, I'm overqualified, and I'm gonna show you.
Right.
So my first month in the position, I was number 13, and there was only 13 of us. I came in 13, so the director's looking like, oh, I made a mistake. She had that talk game.
right.
I made a mistake. Man, I went home, I studied, I researched. I spent hours of off-the-clock time to perfect what I did. I was the #1 consultant for the next 3 years. Every month. I was making like $30,000, $40,000, $60,000 some months. So it was hard. I say that to say, before I got the degree, I was already making the money.
Right.
The degree was what I wanted to do for myself. Right? And for me to walk away from that type of money, it took a lot of prayer. Because, baby, I was like, Lord, what if I fail? Lord, what if I can't pay my bills, Lord? But you know what? I read a quote that said, if you do not take the time to invest in your own dreams, you will work the rest of your life for someone who's investing in theirs.
Hello.
And I thought about the millions of dollars that I was making that company. Well, I'm sorry. I thought about the money that I made. So I might have been making mid-6 figures, but that company was making well over 7 figures off of me. And so at first, I did my business part-time and I worked for corporate America full-time. And then I finally got to a point to where I said, me giving this company my time, it is giving me a guaranteed paycheck, but I'm never gonna reach my full potential over here until I give this up. I gotta let go of the safety net. And if I fall, I have to depend on God to catch me. And when I got to that place, I took the money I had, I paid my bills for a whole year. Because if I fall, I got some time to bounce back for these bills start being due, right? I paid my bills for the whole year and I stepped out on faith, and God is so good. He is so sufficient. Every year, my company grew organically, at least 30+%, and I never did marketing.
Wow.
I said,
hold on, wait, no marketing?
I never did marketing. I said, in order for this company to grow in this capacity, I have to give them something they're not accustomed to. Great customer service.
Hello.
A world-class service, so they feel so good about me and what I've done for them, they're gonna go tell 5 more people.
They're the money.
Now, I had a bomb referral program to incentivize them, but I never spent a dollar in marketing.
People don't understand that the work you put forward is the marketing.
Right, absolutely.
Right? Like
absolutely.
the service that you give, the quality of things that the quality of yourself, forget a company, the quality of the individual you are is your marketing. The way you say hello, the way you say goodbye, the conversation in between, that's the marketing. A lot of people try to gear up or pay for, what is, marketing or exposure. And it's like, man, just be fire up front,
Let me tell you something.
you know?
So one of the most important things for me for business was developing workflows and an SOP.
Yeah.
That changes the trajectory of your business. You're not out here freestyling, doing what you think. I got the whole thing mapped out. When my staff comes in, I'm training you on systems, but I'm also training you on the SOP, the standard operating procedure. And guess what? I have different workflows for different scenarios. And there's not one unaddressed scenario. And if there is, I'm right there. You can come and you can ask me and I'll teach you and we can work through this thing together.
You probably write another SOP. What that?
Absolutely. When I have other individuals in the same industry as me, they come and train with me and my staff.
Yeah.
Because I don't believe in withholding information. I'm not in fear of you stealing my clients.
Right.
If you take that client was never mine to begin with. My clients are very loyal, and most of my clients don't even look like us. I want to be clear, okay? They don't look like us. When I focused on trying to make my clients the people that I could touch, I was unsuccessful. And my feelings were hurt a lot. And I was underpaid. And I was questioned a lot. And you would think, my people. Just because it was me, it was too much. So when I started to focus on a group of individuals that I wasn't even trying to focus on, the cup overfloweth. And each year it got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And when I tell you during COVID, I think client-wise, I grew the most.
Yeah.
And I was in such fear of how it was going to affect my business. And I grew the most during the pandemic. And I was like, look at God. Won't he?
What's up, boy? Okay.
Like, look at God. Because
That was awesome.
I was amazed.
I find it impressive. You don't really see, I don't really come across a lot of women who's driven far as being an entrepreneur, founder, owning anything, right? It's kind of, they're happy where they're at, right? That corporate job where, hey, I make a little bit here, I'm cool, or
Complacency.
or finding that guy to be the saviors, right? So I hear from more men, right? It's more common for a guy that I hear to want more, strive for more. What was the internal drive for you to not want a piece of the pie, but
Listen.
kind of step into that boss world of?
Hold on, wait a minute. Y'all thought I was finished? When he say, it was something about that roller, when that roller touched my wrist, that stuck in my head. That motivated me. Like I said, the first month, I was at the bottom of the barrel.
13.
And it felt disgusting. To be in last place, that's what motivated me. And then seeing how rewarding and beneficial it was for my kids being able to get whatever they want. Things that me as a kid, I never even imagined being able to provide for my kids. My kids, being able to be that person for my friends and my family, being able to make sure that the people connected to me, they never had to go without. Those were the things that continue to push me and motivate me, and even more. And the more money you make, the more money you spend. So when you get to a certain level, when you get to a certain lifestyle, you got to keep working, because now I got to maintain this life that I've built.
Yeah.
And I can't give up. Giving up is not an option. I say, if you don't come from a rich family, you ought to create a rich family for your kids. Right? If you don't come from it, because some people are privileged to be born with a silver spoon in their mouth. Hell, I had a damn plastic spoon that was cracked and broke, okay?
Come on.
And so because I came from that, it was important for me to build something that my kids could benefit from and my kids' kids could benefit from. So it's like when you start thinking about that, when you start thinking about lack of resources and how it affects you, think about a person that looks like us that goes to jail. Lack of resources, railroaded, 20-year sentence. Think about a person who looks like us with resources. That 20 years might be 2 months. I don't want to be that mother who puts my kid in this position.
Right.
I need to be that mother that puts my kid in this position because we have resources and we have things that are readily available to us to be able to help us in whatever situation that may occur. That was important to me. I wanted to be a mother that my sons looked up to. And you were at my dinner party, and my son said, Mom, you're my hero. There's nothing that feels more phenomenal than your kid saying that to you because you saw. He's been there from the beginning. When I had to choose whether I was going to feed him or feed both of us.
Chill.
And the choice was...
Chill. I leave right now.
And the choice was...
So we keeping it above right now.
I just don't cut it off. Okay.
And the choice was, I'm going to feed my son and I'll be all right until the morning. I'll be all right until paycheck come. He's been there.
Wow.
And so to now have an overflow and such abundance that I give stuff away. I just gave somebody a pair of diamond screwback earrings. I just gave somebody a Versace robe. I just gave somebody a Da Vinci bum bag. I give these things away.
Because that's your blessing.
Right.
Your blessings in the giving. You don't care what to do with it. It's your blessings in the giving.
And I am blessed to be a blessing to the people around me.
Yeah.
My gifts are not for me. It is for everyone connected to me to be able to benefit from those gifts.
I saw a saying that said, when a tree grows, the fruit, comes off of the tree. Absolutely. And the tree can't eat its own fruit.
Can't.
And it's like, that fruit ain't for you.
Absolutely.
Your gift is for somebody else.
Correct.
At some point, sometimes you want to have somebody thank you. You appreciate the fruit. You know what I'm saying? At some points, you want to have somebody appreciate it. You've gone through so much, right? Back, forth, up, down.
Thank God I don't look like
side to side. Right.
Shit.
You've gone through so much, and it's inspirational, right? It's not over yet.
Right.
It's still
the story
going,
still being written.
right? And you're doing it in a place that not a lot of stories are like this. Jacksonville, Florida.
Right.
What has Jacksonville meant to you in the transitions that you've gone through? And how has it helped or hurt the things that you've experienced so far?
Listen, sometimes I want to get dressed up in some chinchilla and something nice. And I'm like,
Not here.
not quite the place for that, right? So the hindrance is sometimes there's no camaraderie in the city. Sometimes there's a lack of the events and things that I would like to participate in for a platform for me and my business and my growth, right? Jacksonville is very cliquish, and it's very, if they're doing that on social media, they must be rich. No, this is my real life. I don't have to do it on social media.
Right.
The Bentley was in the garage. I was living in the $500,000 house. I had everything that you could think of. I had all the jewelry. I had all that stuff, right? But that don't mean nothing to me. And so people are like, why do you stay in Jacksonville? My family is here.
Right.
My heritage is here. My roots are here. And then I have a kid with special needs. I can't just leave my kid. I don't ever want my kid to grow up thinking that I just created a whole other life and left him behind, which is the reason why when I got married, second time, I refused to drop Kinsey from my name. I got to have some part of my son with me, right? On the other side, Jacksonville has gave me some great connections.
Right.
It's some people that's here that are gems just like I am. And they're not in the limelight. They're behind the scenes, but I can call those people and say, hey, let me run this by you. And they can call me, and we share these bonds and these connections, and we help each other, and we motivate each other, and we inspire each other. So Jacksonville, though it can be gloomy as far as entertainment and nightlife is concerned, it gives me so much more than that. The things that I receive from the people that I have met here and that live here are far more beneficial than the things that I would receive from the poppin' nightlife, because I can go to Atlanta, I can go to Houston, I can go anywhere,
Right.
and come back home. But this is where home is. And you never realize, and then I want to be clear too though, because I'm gonna keep it real, but we keep it a buck now.
Keep it a book.
Another part of it
I like
is fear. It's fear.
fear out of being scared or fear out of respect for something. There's two different types of fear, and most of these people don't even understand that.
So it's the fear of because I'm somebody in Jacksonville.
Say that.
Okay, I'm somebody here. They know who I am.
What it is.
So if I go to Orlando, who she thinks she is? I'm in a whole different foreign place that's
Right.
not familiar to me.
Right.
I even have a fear of having to whip out my GPS to go everywhere I got to go. So my son in fear is what keeps me rooted here. And the fact that my mom is here, my dad is here, you know, my siblings are now here, my family is here. And so if I were to go somewhere else that's unfamiliar to me, what are the connections? And then I have a 2-year-old kid. Who's gonna watch him?
Right.
Now, I ain't gonna even lie. I watch Investigation ID so much, it's borderline unhealthy.
Right.
And so what happens because of that is I develop all these mental fears, right? Like, it's a show that comes on that's called Fear Thy Neighbor. And these neighbors, they get into these major conflicts and it becomes this whole big thing and someone dies. I don't even want to talk to my damn neighbors. Keep it moving.
At all.
Keep it, let's pay
Can't let the shows get in.
and bow. But it's real though. These are not fictitious.
Okay.
These are real life scenarios where something started off beautifully and ended horribly. And I have these fears. And so because I want to avoid conflict, I do everything to avoid it.
Would you say Jacksonville is quiet enough to where you can get your stuff done? Opposed to like other cities, there's a lot of commotion, right? There's a lot of commotion, you know, and it varies from different industries, right? So for instance, you know, if you're in the podcast industry and you're in Atlanta, you got to compete with somebody's, you know, other podcasts. You got to compete with other forms of entertainment. You got to compete with shows that night, that day, the weekend, whatever, events. You know, you being in the field that you're in, like, is there something that you benefit better in Jacksonville that you don't have to compete with in other
Let
cities?
me give you a little secret. 80% of my clients are not from Jacksonville.
Yeah.
My clients are all over the world.
Right.
And I love it
Yeah.
because I'm not in this crab pot competing for anything.
So it's like-
You understand what I'm saying? If a client wants to leave, how can I make this transition as easy for you as possible? Because I'm going
you
to
got to come back. Coming back, or you say, you know what?
listen, I'm going to help
got
you
somebody
because
click.
my life, if I can have a person call me and I talk to them once, because who's really calling a company talking to the damn CEO?
Right.
Like nobody, really, right? So my clients have an advantage that other people can't give them, right? And so I might talk to a new potential client and I can just build a conversation now. Oh, they're going to be a headache.
Right.
My team, we ain't accepting no new clients. Tell them no. I have grown in this industry after 10 years of being able to turn clients away. And I'll give you a referral to somebody else because my life is about easy.
Gotcha.
I don't want to complicate things. I want to make things very, very easy. And I already see your ass going to be a damn nightmare. So I'm going to sprint to you and great. Absolutely. Team? Hell no. Hell no. I see problems all the time. Remember on the Sixth Sense, I can see a problem coming before I even come in contact with it, and I'm avoiding it. We're not going to even play this game. I'm good.
So we all know you're such a helper and a giver. And we got something exclusive that haven't really dropped just yet. I want to kind of dive into a little bit. We got a book coming out.
Yes.
2025, we got a book coming out. And I think this is the first time, you spoke about
Yes,
the book.
it is. It
Okay.
is.
I would love to know, and for our followers as well, give us a little bit of insight on the book. Not too much, because I know we got to read it, but give us a little tea from the book that we can look forward to.
The book, I would have to describe the book as the most painful, most beautiful work of art ever. And to most people, that sounds contradictory, right? But it's something that's so beautiful about writing about all the pain that you've experienced in your life and being at this victorious place. Being at this place to where you know you were able to overcome all of that hurt and all of that pain. So it chronicles the life of Mackenzie Brooks, Kinsey for short, and she's walking you through this journey and helping the readers to understand some of the challenges, adversity, the trials, the tribulations, the heartbreak, the heartache that she's faced throughout her life. And she's recognizing that because these things happened to me, this is how it later showed up in my life. Because part of getting better and growing is first recognizing and acknowledging, right? And so she's doing that. And it's talking to the readers as well and saying, don't go down that path. Don't do that. Don't do this, because I did this and this is where it led me. And it's so transparent. It's so open. It's so raw. The emotions are raw. You know, it's in the mind of a younger person. And for me now, being in the 40 plus group, it's always interesting to see where I was mentally at that point in my life, because it helps me to acknowledge how much I've grown to where I'm at currently at this point in my life. But the book it's gonna make you laugh. It's gonna make you cry. It's gonna make you know that regardless of the things that I've gone through in my life, I can still come out and I can still be victorious. Like, no matter how it looks, when the world gives up on you, you don't have to give up on yourself.
Come on.
Right.
When the world gives up on you, you do not have to give up. And guess what? I was supposed to be a statistic. And I want to be clear, Mackenzie Brooks is me, right? That's my character, the main character in the book, which is me. I was supposed to be a statistic. When I got pregnant as a teen mom, they wrote me off. The whispers in the hallways at school. She's a baby and she's pregnant herself. She doesn't know how to take care of a baby. I was supposed to be on welfare, supposed to be on food stamps, supposed to be on Section 8, I wasn't supposed to be where I'm at in life now, because they just knew that because of the things that I had gone through in my life, my mom being on drugs, my father not being there, there's no way that these statistics lead her to become this. It's not possible. And so I want to let women know that we as women, we have to go through so much. We have to deal with so much. We have to accept so much. But it's never too late to arrive to a place where you truly know and you understand your worth, and you decide, I've accepted this for 10 years, but I'm not accepting it one more day. And that was the journey that I had to go through. And writing the book was so therapeutic. And it also helped me to identify some things I needed to heal from. Some things I thought I was healed from, but I hadn't actually healed from them, because healing is progressive. You never stop healing. It is a decision every day to decide that I'm going to continue to heal from these things that I've gone through. You don't just go to therapy and, oh, I'm cured and now I'm better and now, no. Because the second something happens that triggers that emotion or that thought, you revert right back. So it is a continual, everyday decision that I am going to heal. I'm going to grow from these things that happened to me. And I'm going to become better, because that's what my ultimate goal was. And it wasn't to be better for anyone. It was to be better for me. It was a self-discovery journey for me to be better, for me. Not to impress a man. They lined up. Not to impress a man.
They what?
They lined up.
Around the corner?
Man, but for me.
Right.
So it was, it's beautiful. It's beautiful, but it's sad. When I read my mom, one of the chapters, because I'm exposing some of her stuff, right? I owe it to you to have enough respect for you to allow you to see how I'm going to present you to the world. I owe you that. I love you too much to blindside you and have people calling you and saying, girl, you know what your daughter wrote in this book about you?
Right.
I want you to know before the world knows.
Right. What's that?
I love you enough. And when my mom read one of the chapters and she called me and she was like, you were going through that? We had no idea.
We had no clue.
We had no idea.
What
We went through that.
what was your thought process when she told you that?
Life be lifing. And we have family members that's going through their stuff, and we're going through our stuff. And it's possible that those things never collide. You never get, because for me, everybody calls me the dump. And when I say dump, they call me to say, girl, let me tell you how. Rewind. Nobody ever calls and says, how's your day going?
Say that.
What happened with you today? How do you feel?
Are you okay?
Nobody ever does that for me.
I'm telling you, bro.
So because nobody ever does that for me, I know all they shit.
Right.
Come on.
They don't know none of mine.
Come on.
Right.
Could have been buried in the trunk somewhere, and y'all had no clue that I was even going through an abusive relationship.
It's the difference between the outcome of the things like what the world sees about you. Like it's the biggest difference. If you don't allow me or somebody don't check on me, like it's a gift and a curse. It's more a curse because it feels terrible. But the world about to get a book. The world's about to get a savage in the workplace. They're about to get,
Right.
the boss of a lifetime
Right.
because of that. And now don't get upset because I'm acting different. No, you unleashed this beast when you didn't treat me as human as you treated everybody else.
When my best friend calls me, I can hear a tremble in her voice and know something is wrong. When her voice is a little bit above the normal octave, I know something is wrong.
Right.
When she's talking slow, people just don't take the time to pay that close attention to detail like that. I can be watching a movie, right? Never saw it before, and I can tell from what a person is saying and how they're saying it, oh, they're about to go commit suicide. Because I pay attention to everything. I pay attention to the demonstrative language. I pay attention to what's being communicated when your mouth is closed. People just don't do that.
Right.
So you can be going through the biggest storm in your life, and the people who connected to you, they call in and say, hey, can I borrow your raincoat? Not even knowing, I need this raincoat and this umbrella and these rain boots and all this I need because I'm going through something. But nobody ever takes the time to ask you, so they never know.
And now they will.
Right.
Because of the publication. Are there other people that are going to read this book and go, oh, wow, I was a part of, your life like in this way, similar with your mom?
I do believe, because I'm so respectful and I like to end things on good terms. I don't like to have conflict with people. I have just about read the worst part of your character to you, right? So one person that I cannot bring myself to communicate with on that level, he may feel like, well, damn. But realistically, you know what you did.
Right.
You know what you did.
Right.
And now you're just reading how what you did affected me.
Right.
And now you're just seeing it from my perspective. So none of the book is a lie. There's sometimes when I conceal identities, right? Because I still want to be respectful. There's sometimes when I didn't put things in the book to spare my kids because they're fathers, But there's no lie in the book. There's not one lie in the book.
You confident in the success that it's going to bring?
Absolutely, because the book is a healer.
Good.
It's not just telling you this sad story. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But in order for me to allow people to understand who Mackenzie Brooks is, they have to know her journey on becoming the person that she is.
Right.
And so it's telling that story. It's telling that story, and it's telling that story so openly, and it's telling that story so raw, so blood raw. And it's like, I had to remove the mask. I had to be comfortable with being 100% transparent. And I know that some people are not going to agree with some of the things that I said or some of the things that I felt, but it doesn't change the fact that it was how I felt. I talk about women a lot, but it also helps men too. If you see who you are in any of these men, in any of these male characters in the book, it's going to help you want to change and be better.
Nice.
Because you get to see how it actually affects the woman.
Nice.
Right.
So it's for men and women. It's not just for women. It's
I
for
might need
both.
that.
Yes, yeah.
I might need that.
We diving in.
If you would for me, Jesus, we good right here? Camera? If you would for me, look into that camera, top camera right there. That's yours.
Okay.
You have your almost 2-year-old. So I usually like to talk to either if someone doesn't have kids, they talk to their either younger self or a version of themselves in a younger day, or they talk to their younger child and just we want to prevent as much hurt and as much pain as we went through in our transitions. We want to prevent that for our kids. You know, it shapes their character at the end of the day, but we still not gonna let them go through it if we can help it. So I want you, if you would, look in that camera and give a piece of advice to your younger, son on, what he's gonna endure, how he's gonna get out of it, and how much he means to you.
Right. So life is never going to stop. Life is very transitional. It will be lifing for the rest of your life, right? At the end of the day, son, the day go in. But in that, I want you to keep 3 very important things near you. 1, do not mess up your background. Going to jail and getting caught up in that system is a way to keep you in bondage. Number 2, keep your credit good. Don't pay your bills late. Pay all of your bills on time. Because if you don't have money, you got credit. You can't be broke and have bad credit, son. You need to have one or the other, okay? And number 3, your reputation, who you are, how you want your legacy to be remembered is very important. Always be a person of integrity. Always be a man of your word. Don't just say what you're going to do, but stand behind what you say that you're going to do. And the last thing is always keep God first. No matter what you go through in life, because you are going to always be going through something, always put God first. That's it.
Wow, that's it. You can't end no better than
Wow. That's how you finish it up, right?
Lakeisha, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for coming to the gym. Josh, you got anything else, man?
I'm good, man.
We got a banger. This was classic.
That's a good banger.
This was a classic here. And appreciate y'all. Like, comment, subscribe.
Please.
Please click that notification button so you can understand and see all of the updates that we have. Where can people find you on social media and your businesses?
The team has been trying to get me on the social media wave for so long. I'm gonna do it. So you can find me at @BossLady_Watson on Instagram. Follow me at Lakeisha Kinsey on Facebook, and that's Kinsey on Facebook. And then obviously, as we get closer to unveiling the book, we're going to be doing more things, and I'll come back with some new social media channels and things like that. But the name of the book is The Broken Pieces That Define Me from A to Z. It's going to be a very, very great piece of work. So make sure you get it and read it when it's released.
Y'all heard it here first.
The verbal pinky promise. I like that. Coming back. We're coming back. Definitely holding you to that. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Take care. And a buck was kept.
Moonwalker music.